Hello everyone, how you doing? I hope you're all doing really well today. I'm Lindsay, your host of the Heavy Metal Journal and writer for This Day in Metal, and I am back with New Metal Monday, where I talk about my favourite new releases of the week, and it's been quite a quiet week again for me this week. However, the 3 albums that I want to talk about completely blew my mind, and I cannot stop playing them. I know I say that every week about the records that I recommend to you guys, but honestly, these records I can't stop playing them. I love them so much, and they're from slightly different subgenres as well, and it really mixes things up a little bit, and I'm very excited about them, as you can probably tell. But before I begin, as always, check out the description box below where you will find a Spotify playlist, which will feature every single album that I talk about on my New Metal Monday videos. So if you use Spotify, make sure to follow that playlist because I update that every Monday just after these videos go live. If you don't have Spotify though, don't worry about it, because in that description box I will also include the links to the band's Bandcamp pages or their YouTube channels, just so you guys can find the music that I'm talking about as easily and quickly as possible. Whilst you're there, check out the link to the This Day in Metal website that I write for, where we give you the breaking news in the metal world, full in-depth album reviews that break down the albums track by track in a lot more detail, interviews, special features and new releases on a weekly basis. Check that out, because not only will it help me out, but it will also help out the team that write for the website as well. But anyway, I've prattled on long enough now. Let's get started. 3 brand new albums. Let's go. Okay, so very first on my list is an album that I had for about 2 weeks before it was released, and again, I could not stop playing this album, and I was so excited to see that everyone else seemed to love it as well. It seems to have been really popular on Friday when it was released, and that's Nicophobia with To the Stars, and it's the 4th studio album from the German melodic death metal band. Now, when I say that this album is beautiful, it's beautiful, but it's also incredibly brutal. So this is old school melodic death metal from Germany, like I said, but it has heavy influences from the 90s Scandinavian melodic death metal scene. So if that's your thing, if that's the kind of subgenre that you're really into, you do not want to miss out on this record. You have huge melodies and gorgeous twin guitar harmonies and solos. It's a very guitar-driven record, so you can expect a lot of really intricate, detailed riffage that is just absolutely gorgeous. Flying solos everywhere, but you've also got a great mix of blistering blast beats and rhythmical drumming, gorgeously chunky bass lines, and a great balance between those really harsh guttural screams and growls that really capture your attention in a vice-like grip. The power and the energy behind this record is unbelievable. And you've also got all of those really cool ethereal synthy moments, the keyboards, the orchestration, piano, violins, but it's not overbearing at all. Like I said, it's a very guitar driven record, so you can expect a lot of really detailed guitar melodies and riffs in here, but those orchestrations and the synthy moments really create a dynamic atmosphere that's very grand and very opulent, but it doesn't take away from the instrumentation of the band, as well as it being absolutely gorgeous. And I cannot get over how stunning this record is. It goes hard. This is ridiculously heavy. It's a beautiful cinematic soundscape full of all of those really beautiful details and intricacies that's going to obliterate everything at the same time. So don't be fooled by this. Yes, it is gorgeous. Yes, it is very emotive, but it's crushing and devastating at the same time. They have a really great balance between the heaviness and those gorgeous intricacies that make that really cool ethereal kind of atmosphere. Definitely check it out, especially if you are a fan of the likes of early In Flames, Amorphous, Insomnium, Duskmorn, that kind of sound. This one is definitely for you. Cannot get over how much I love this album, and the artwork is stunning as well. Okay, so next up on my list, I have Cryptic Hatred with Internal Torment, and it's the second studio album from the Finnish death metal band. Now, this is old school death metal, but it has this very sinister, evil, foreboding kind of twist to it. So the riffs in this are everywhere. This is another very riff driven, guitar driven record, but the riffs are devastating. They're chugging and ferocious, super fast, lightning speed guitar work, but it also alternates to that groovy kind of mid-tempo stomp as well that swings at you like an unhinged berserker with an anvil. I cannot get over how heavy this record is. Blast beats everywhere, chunky bass lines, and those guttural vocals are so powerful. The energy behind those vocals, they're emanating from the depths of hell itself. It's ridiculous how heavy and pure evil they sound. Roll all of that together and you've got an absolutely amazing death metal record, which is equal parts heavy as well as equal parts catchy hooks and addictive kind of groove stomps as well. But not only that, they have this very uncanny ability, much like Frozen Soul, where they've used synths and keyboards to kind of make this eerie, foreboding, sinister kind of atmosphere about it. And again, it's so well placed. It doesn't take away from the instrumentation and the metal side of things, but it's the subtle, creepy, eerie synths that kind of weave their way in there that makes the album so interesting. And like I said, it swings between that really guttural, heavy, lightning speed viciousness and this mid-tempo stomp that is just going to knock you off your feet. I love this record and it is so ridiculously addictive as well. I listened to it at least 2 or 3 times before I realised I was at the end of it and it was starting again. Even though it's super heavy, and don't get me wrong, it is incredibly heavy, it's also really easy and enjoyable to listen to. It's a really fun, kind of catchy, brutal death metal record. So if you are a fan of the likes of Frozen Soul, like I said, or Cannibal Corpse, Suffocation, that kind of style of death metal, this one is definitely for you. Plus, I am a sucker for a pure purple album artwork. Purple is my favorite color, and I honestly think that this artwork is particularly eye-catching. But I really like my death metal to have that kind of like groove stomp to it as well, with those really catchy hooks and solos and riffage everywhere, and the little synths keep things interesting as well. So if you like that kind of thing too, this one is definitely for you. Okay, so last up on my list, but certainly by no means least, I am probably going to pronounce this incorrectly because I always do, and it shouldn't come as a shock to anybody anymore, but we're going to bash on with this anyway, and that's Aklis with House of the Black Germanus. And this is a black dark metal band from the US. Now, when I say that this record reminded me of a final boss battle in a ridiculously hard video game like Dark Souls or something, that's the kind of vibe that I got when I was listening to this. This is so evil, and it completely caught me off guard. I don't know what I was expecting when I was listening to this record, but it wasn't that. And I am so happy. This is so tensely evil and foreboding, and it's so intricately layered. There's a lot of black metal influences in there, and it is very, very dark. It is so interesting to listen to. You don't know which way they're going to go, but those dissonant black metal rasps and screams, they're terrifying. They're absolutely terrifying. They're so strong and so powerful, but they just completely knock you for 6. And I just can't get over, and I know I've said this a lot over this video, but I can't get over just how ridiculously heavy this record is. You've got a lot of that black metal shreddage and riffage. You've got a lot of that intricate but very, very ferocious guitar work in this. Like I said, dissonant black metal screams, blast beats everywhere. They are everywhere. And you're honestly in fight mode when you're listening to this record, but it's that kind of fight mode where you're not scared, you're really wanting to go for it. You know, you're full of confidence, you're full of power and energy, and you just want to go for it. And I absolutely loved that about this record. There's something very dark and very evil and sinister about it. Huge black metal elements with a little bit of death in there as well. And those synths throughout this, again, they're not subtle, but they're not overbearing at the same time either. And it really creates this very dynamic kind of atmosphere about it. So if you are a fan of the likes of Bluetooth Nord or Nightbringer, that kind of sound, this one is definitely for you. This is a very, very interesting record. And I'm going to be delving into this an awful lot because it's one of those records where the more you listen to it, the more you pick up on and you notice little details that you didn't notice on the 6th or 7th time that you listen to this record. There's something, like I said, like I keep saying, there's something very dark and foreboding about this, but it entices you, it hooks you in, and it keeps hold of you, and it pummels you into submission with all of that black metal glory, and I am here for it. Love it. Don't skip out on this one. Plus, even the artwork, even the album artwork looks really creepy as well. I love it. Absolutely love it. And that's it for this week's very rambly New Metal Monday. Comment down below to let me know what you think of today's records, and if you have any of your own recommendations, let me know and I will definitely get them added to my list. Like, share, subscribe. I really do appreciate the support as always. I'm going to lay off the caffeine. I've had a lot of coffee today, hence the rambling style of video. Thank you so much, and I will see you very soon in my next video.